You have been saving, maybe for 2 years, maybe for 5. A down payment sitting in a high-yield account, waiting for the right moment to become the biggest financial decision of your life. And right now, in 2026, you are watching the market and asking the question that nobody is giving you a straight answer to. Is it safe to buy? Here's the answer nobody wants to give you. In 10 specific states, buying a home right now is not a wealth-building decision. It is a wealth-destroying one. The collapse that started building in 2025 is not finished. It is accelerating. And if you put your down payment into the wrong market in 2026, you will spend the next decade underwater on a mortgage in a city that is losing value, losing residents, and losing the economic foundation that justified the price you paid. This is part of our Housing and Cost of Living series. This countdown starts at number 10 and builds to the state where the data is most alarming for anyone about to make a first home purchase. By the end of this video, you will know exactly where not to put your money in 2026 and why the warning signs were visible long before most people admitted them. Stay with me. Number 10, Washington. Washington built its housing market on one assumption, that the tech industry would grow forever. That assumption is now being tested directly, and first-time buyers are the ones paying for it. The median home in King County has crossed $800,000, while sales have dropped to their lowest point since 2011. Inventory is up 21% year over year, and sellers are cutting prices just to get showings. The market that rewarded buyers in 2018 is now punishing them in 2026. For a first-time buyer, the math in Washington is brutal. Monthly payments in Seattle exceed $4,800, up from $2,900 just 3 years ago. Property taxes up 14%, maintenance costs up 18%. Amazon hiring freezes, Boeing delays, and startup layoffs have removed the demand floor that kept prices elevated. That floor is not returning fast enough to protect a purchase made today. Number 9, Nevada. Las Vegas sold the dream that growth never stops. In 2026, over 15,000 homes sit unsold across Henderson and North Las Vegas, stretching across subdivisions that were under bidding wars 2 years ago. Sales volume has dropped 18% year over year. Active listings are up 23%. Builders are offering $30,000 incentives to move inventory that nobody is buying. The problem is structural. This economy runs on tourism, gaming, and conventions, all of which contract when consumers feel pressure. Insurance in Clark County jumped 22% in a single year. Water restrictions are tightening. Buying in a market whose economic engine is contracting is a specific risk no down payment should absorb without understanding the 5-year trajectory. In Nevada in 2026, that trajectory is not encouraging. Number 8, Utah. Utah spent a decade being held up as proof that you could have tech salaries and affordable housing in the same place. That argument peaked in 2021. In 2026, it has collapsed. The median home price has surpassed $560,000, a 70% increase since 2019. Home sales are down 19% year over year. Inventory is up 28%. In Salt Lake City, the average home now sits on the market for 71 days, compared to just 29 days during the pandemic boom. Utah in 2026 is a specific trap, a market that looks like it has already corrected, but where the affordability math still does not work. The average mortgage consumes 42% of family income. Tech companies that justified Silicon Slopes valuations are cutting staff or moving operations. Population growth is stalling. Buying into a market where the employers who set the price floor are downsizing is not a calculated risk. It is a preventable mistake. Number 7, Louisiana. Louisiana's housing market is not correcting. It is being evacuated. Insurance premiums have surged over 50% in 2 years. Dozens of major insurers have pulled out of the state entirely, leaving homeowners uninsured or paying over $6,000 annually for minimal coverage. Inventory has jumped 31%, while sales have dropped to their lowest level in over a decade. In New Orleans, homes sit on the market an average of 80 YTY 5 days, the longest stretch in the South. When major insurance companies decide a market is too risky to cover, they are communicating something about property value that no real estate agent will tell you directly. Coastal parishes are literally disappearing beneath rising seas. Buying in a market where insurability itself is becoming uncertain is not a housing decision. It is a gamble on a 30-year mortgage. In Louisiana in 2026, those odds are the worst on this list so far. Number 6, Arizona. Arizona spent years absorbing Californians who were priced out of their home state. That migration wave is reversing. Over 18,000 homes sit unsold in Maricopa County. Double the number from the previous year. 27% of active listings have CUT prices. The market that looked unstoppable in 2022 is now a market where sellers are competing for a shrinking pool of buyers who can no longer afford what the pandemic years priced in. Arizona, in 2026, carries risk beyond the normal housing cycle, 35 days per year, above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Summer electric bills exceeding $420 per month. Lake Mead dropping. Insurance companies pulling out of wildfire zones. The people leaving Arizona are not leaving because the market is temporarily soft. They are leaving because the cost structure has permanently shifted upward in ways that will not reverse when rates eventually fall. Number 5, Colorado. Colorado sold the idea that you could pay premium prices because the lifestyle justified it. Mountains, trails, clean air, and cities that felt genuinely livable. That premium has compounded to a level where the lifestyle can no longer support the price. The median home statewide has reached $580,000. Monthly mortgage payments now average nearly $4,000, a 70% increase since 2020. Housing inventory has surged 30% as high-end listings flood a market where buyers have retreated. New construction is down 40% since 2023. Tourism revenue is falling, rental vacancy at its highest since the early 2010s. Maintenance costs up 17%. Utilities up 11%, property taxes breaking records. Colorado in 2026 means paying near-peak prices for a market whose economic engine is running below capacity. The next 3 states are where the data becomes genuinely alarming. Number 4, Hawaii. Hawaii's price-to-income ratio has reached 10-1, one of the highest in American history. The median home price stands at $875,000 against an average household income of $88,000. For a first-time buyer earning $60,000 to $75,000, Hawaii is not a stretch. It is a mathematical impossibility, dressed up in ocean views. Tourism is down 14% year over year. Airbnb properties sit dark. Insurance up 35% in 2 years. Condos on Maui and Oahu sit for over 120 days. Locals are leaving in record numbers. When a housing market loses its resident population, it loses the economic activity that sustains property values. Hawaii is already past that inflection point. The next state lost $16 billion in property value in a single year. Number 3, California. California lost over $16 billion in home value in the past year alone. Steep declines in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego have pushed the statewide median to $760,000 against an average household income of $91,000. That is a price-to-income ratio above 8-1. The monthly mortgage payment on a median California home now exceeds $5,000, which means the first-time buyer earning $70,000 cannot qualify, cannot sustain it, and cannot build any financial position from it even if they could. 400,000 residents left California in 2024, the 3rd consecutive year of population decline. Major employers have relocated to lower-cost states. Insurance companies are pulling out of wildfire zones, leaving properties that cannot be sold because buyers cannot insure them. 30% of active listings have cut prices. For a first-time buyer in 2026, California is not a market that rewards patience. It is a market that punishes entry. Number 2, Texas. Texas promised everything California offered without the cost. Low taxes, cheap homes, booming jobs, and endless space. That promise is being broken in real time. Analysts estimate a $32 billion loss in statewide home value. Austin's median price has dropped 8% in a single year, while inventory jumped 26%. The highest in a decade. Insurance premiums are up 40% in hurricane-prone coastal areas. Property taxes in Dallas County rose 13% year over year. For a first-time buyer who moved to Texas because it was supposed to be the affordable alternative, 2026 is a reckoning. The affordability that defined Texas has been systematically eroded by the same pandemic-era speculation that inflated every other major market. Home prices surged nearly 60% during the boom years. That speculative layer is now unwinding. Average summer utility bills exceed $420. Climate risk is driving insurers out of coastal areas. The state that promised everything bigger is now delivering bigger losses, but it is not number 1. That position belongs to the state, where every one of these problems exists simultaneously at maximum intensity. Number 1, Florida. Florida is the most dangerous housing market in America for a first-time buyer in 2026. Not because it is the most expensive, not because the job market is the weakest, but because the combination of financial, climatic, and structural risks converging here is unlike anything happening in any other single state on this list. The data from 2025 is not a warning about what might happen. It is a preview of what is already underway and accelerating. The Florida housing market lost an estimated $10 billion in value in 2025. Inventory is up 31% statewide. 1 in 4 active listings has already cut its price. But the price correction is not even the most important risk for a first-time buyer. The insurance situation is. Premiums have surged over 300% since 2020. Major insurers, including Farmers, have abandoned the state entirely. Many homeowners now pay over $8,000 annually for basic coverage, making Florida's insurance market the most expensive in the nation. Add property taxes and utilities, and total monthly housing costs easily exceed $4,000, more than double the national average. For someone in their late 20s or early 30s considering their first home purchase, Florida in 2026 presents a specific and serious threat. You could buy at what appears to be a corrected price, put down your saved down payment, and find yourself 12 months later holding a property that is worth less, costs more to insure, and is harder to sell than when you bought it. Record flooding, saltwater intrusion, hurricane seasons of increasing intensity. These are not temporary headwinds. They are the NEW operating conditions of the Florida real estate market. The dream that Florida sold for generations is not gone. But in 2026, buying into it without understanding exactly what the data says is one of the most preventable financial mistakes a first-time buyer can make. Payoff. Three forces are driving every market on this list simultaneously. Mortgage rates near 7% have pushed monthly payments to levels that local incomes cannot sustain market after market. Insurance costs have restructured permanently upward in climate-exposed states, adding thousands of dollars annually to the cost of ownership that no mortgage calculator includes in its default estimate. And the speculative demand that inflated prices during the pandemic years is UN-winding, leaving markets priced above what genuine local economic activity can support. None of this means homeownership is the wrong decision in 2026. It means location is the only decision that matters. Right now, the down payment you have saved is not just money. It is years of disciplined financial decisions compressed into a single number. The states on this list are where that number goes to get trapped. In declining markets, unsustainable costs, and 30-year commitments to economic environments that the data already shows are moving in the wrong direction. The states where that same down payment builds something real are out there. And if you want to know exactly where to find them, that breakdown is already on your screen. I will see you there.